this. All right, I think we should be up. Yeah, mock draft 2025. Let's fucking go, dude. We got everyone here. We got the crew. We got the Clunk Zone boys. We're up. We're winning. Sixers got the third pick. He was picked at the first
The
pick.
axis of evil getting the top 3 picks.
Yeah. Well, no, the Sixers are good, dude, and the Spurs are good. It's really just that evil Mavericks team, dude. The rest of us are
I mean,
chilling.
come on, man. If you were a Hornets or a Wizards or a Jazz fan and you see like the teams with like a bunch of stars on them jump up to the top 3, like I would be seething.
I mean, that's what they get for tanking.
Yeah.
Unethical tanking.
Exactly.
Yeah, the Sixers who definitely were not tanking this year.
No, we were trying.
Ethical, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, if you try to start the year, I think that's ethical.
All our losses up until like February were definitely ethically bad basketball.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, bro.
We grinded for this.
Then we fucking traded Caleb Martin, outwin our chances of making the play-in. This is fucked.
Yep.
But yeah, bro, here we are. We got Flop. We got Daniel. We got Will. We're ready to lock the fuck in. We might have EJ. Hello. Probably. I don't need it right now. I'll get it later. Thank you. I'm doing this at home. That was my mom. Shout out.
Shout out.
Shout
out. Sal.
Shout out the fam.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, the draft. I'm stalling to give VJ more time, bro. I don't know. I should have wrote an intro. Anyway, yeah, we're hyped. This is the draft. So the way the order goes, it's gonna go me, fucking then Flop, then Daniel, then Will, then if VJ joins VJ, and if VJ doesn't join, we're just gonna rotate. So yeah, that's the order. Who's the fucking draft minds in here? We're gonna find out, dude. All right, whatever. We'll start. Let's lock in. All right. First overall pick. Who could it be? There's no clock, by the way. I didn't explain that before to the people. There's no clock. We're just doing this. I'm picking Cooper Flag, clearly. I don't know. He was like good at Duke or something. They say he's gonna go first overall, so I believe him. That's my analysis. Anyone got any takes? How's he gonna fit in on the Mavericks?
Was there any thoughts of Harper here?
No.
Okay.
I think like obviously this is the pick. I mean, there's just no debate that anyone else should be picked here. The real question is, what the hell do they do with their team? Because I think that they're like they have like a ton of like good win now players, and maybe Cooper Flag is good enough for them to be competitive right away. But they're all their talent is in the front court, and with Kyrie hurt, they have like no guards. So like they have to. And they also have like no draft capital to really be making a ton of moves. So they either have to sell these vets to get draft capital to go get younger guys for Flag, or I don't know. Like to me, this is like a mess. Like I don't even know what they do with Kyrie because he's hurt and his contract. He's a free agent next offseason. Like I think that they have. I mean, look, they get Flag. Like this kind of bails them out of the Luka stuff, but like they have like a lot of like tough choices that they have to make about their direction, even despite the fact that this pick is such an easy win. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like one, they're definitely not going to sell because they just like traded to win now, and also I feel like for Flag's development, like I would probably just like try to win. Like I think it'd be good for him if he made the playoffs like his first year. Like I don't think it's a bad situation for him. And like, isn't Kyrie like? There's a chance he comes back, right? Like late in the year.
I think he is. I think he's supposed to play this year. I'm just like,
yeah.
What's the team like with legitimately like no point guards? I mean, did you see them in the playing game? They had Klay Thompson running point guard, and like think about Klay Thompson, who's like not known for his handle or playmaking ability. You know, I agree with you though. Like if they compete with Flag, that's a great thing. If Kyrie was healthy, I wouldn't question it at all. I mean, I think just like him being out and like what level of team they'll field this year without a clear answer at guard is the only reason why I would question it. I mean, like for them, they can trade like Gafford and PJ Washington for guards and probably like field a good team, and maybe that's just what happens. I don't know.
Some of those extra forwards they have, like Caleb Martin sitting around, maybe you could trade him for like a cool combo guard, like defend, like I don't know, Quentin Grimes. could like be helpful for that
Hmm.
roster.
Like maybe a Caleb Martin or Quentin Grimes trade. That would,
Yeah,
They're gonna hit. The mulligan, the reverse the trade button.
they should. I mean, I would be close to equally as mad if I were a Mavs fan.
That was just such an obvious loss. Although they probably weren't going to be able to keep Grimes anyway, so maybe it doesn't matter in the end. But
Yep.
the Caleb Martin thing is just yuck. Like there's no use for him. Like he's not better than PJ Washington. He's not better than Najee Marshall. Like what's he there for?
Or in hype moments.
do you think there's any thought of trading this in a Giannis package?
No. Why?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I don't know. I mean, they want to win now. You get maybe the best player in the world.
But like,
Giannis
what's
wanna go there,
Giannis
though?
and a?
I think he would.
I don't
I
even
mean-
think that that's true.
I don't think they'll consider trading it, but I think like if Nico wanted to really put his money where his mouth is and like contend immediately, you should.
I mean,
I don't know.
here's the thing: is the first pick enough to get Giannis on its? Well, it would be the first pick in whatever the salary is, because they don't have like anything else to attach. If
Yeah,
No,
they
but I
Giannis
don't
takes-
feel like any of the other Giannis packages are like that overwhelming in terms of talent to the point that like it makes a bunch of like it functionally is going to be salary filler no matter what because it's Giannis and you're not going to trade anyone as good and like the first pick is just the most valuable asset anyway.
Right. It's just that like they don't have other picks to really be attaching. You're not getting a pick haul. You're really banking on Cooper Flag individually being
Sure.
Yeah.
like the guy, and they don't have other picks in the future to like get guys around him. I just
That's
think
true.
that it still leaves you with a pretty tough situation team building wise, but I mean, I just don't think that Giannis is even going to ask out this summer. I think he's going to see the roster be shit and ask out like probably next summer.
Yeah, probably
That's my
agree with
opinion.
that.
Anybody else got any Cooper
I don't know.
Flag
I
thoughts?
if I was the Mavs, I don't know why I would trade them. I wouldn't trade the pick.
Yeah,
There's
me
no
neither.
players in the world you would trade it for?
No.
Not in their situation, no, probably
No.
not.
Yeah, not in their situation. Yeah, if
You
there's
gotta
other-
trade it
there's
for you.
other-
If you got offered Jokic for Flag, you're trading it for Jokic.
Fair.
I
Yeah.
mean, like AD and Jokic, I was actually like doing crazy fanspo trades, and I was like, oh, Jamal Murray and Anthony Davis's salary match, and like the Mavs need a point guard, and the Nuggets need someone to cover up Jokic's defense. Like, what would that look like? And I was like, it would be fun to watch, but I mean, the teams aren't going to do that. Like, teams don't move that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Cooper Flag, Maverick in this draft. Any other Cooper Flag takes?
There we go.
Anybody? Before we move on to this second pick.
Nope.
Aura. All right. San Antonio Spurs. You're on the clock.
And that would be me.
Yeah.
And I think that in many ways, this pick could be almost as much chalk as the Flacca pick. But we have been getting all of these leaks about the Spurs potentially trading down, which I think is an interesting thing to consider for them because ultimately, if they stay here and they just pick Dylan Harper, like that's going to be a win. He's going to be, I think, like a really good NBA player. He'll be an offensive engine. You have a guy to build a look around with Wemby. I think Dylan Harper's 3-point shot will be fine, but if you're worried about him not being a high enough volume 3-point shooter, like Wemby being such a good shooter at the 5 helps sort of make up the math. And I think if you just have to like extend De'Aaron Fox and trade him in a couple of years when Dylan Harper's getting better and you want to, instead of having 2 guards like that, you trade Fox for some wing or something. I think that's a great way to build your roster. I think it would work out for you. I think Dylan Harper's a really good prospect. I think he's a good fit, and I think that you could do a lot worse than just sticking and picking here. But I do think that it's an interesting concept for them to consider trading back. Just because they do have those guards, And it's like, you don't pass on Dylan Harper just because you have Stephon Castle, who's like not an offensive engine. I think in even his like ceiling situations is more of like a supporting cast member. But it would be interesting if you could get like a really big haul. And I do think that there's some desperate NBA franchises out there where you could get a haul. It sounds like the Pelicans specifically might be a little willing to embrace some risk with some new people in the front office. I don't really know like what their plan is with Zion, fuck him, but like I'm sure that they're still building around him, but they don't really have any clear answers at the guard position. It's CJ McCollum, who's old, and you have DeJounte Murray, who's coming off injury and kind of mid. So maybe they want to, get role players, a pick haul and some role players that you could use, like Trey Murphy or Herb Jones. And I think that that's worth seeing if you can get a fleeced offer. And I think the Jazz might be a little desperate. You might be able to get a fleece offer from them. But I think ultimately what's going to happen is that they'll end up taking Dylan Harper. And I think that that's a win for them. And I think if they find a trade back situation, that could be a win for them too, because I don't think that they're desperate. They have Wemby and they can, I think, build a lot of different ways around him. What I would do is I would take Colin Murray-Boyles because I think that it would, well, one, because I'm really high on him, but also situationally for them, I think that he would fit their team like a glove. And I think that him and Victor Wembanyama would be like the hardest to score on front court in the NBA. I think their defense would be insane. And then it's like you can plug, whatever guard you want to run offenses. If it's not De'Aaron Fox, like anyone that becomes available in the future, you can put them there. And maybe that's more of maybe it's more of like a shooter and creator like Darius Garland type. Maybe it's, just a younger version of a guy like Fox. Maybe it's, a big playmaking guard that's like Harper, but you get from another team. Like maybe LaMelo asks out. Like you just don't know. Like, well, I feel like you're more likely to find a guard that can run offense for you at a high level than you are to find someone with like what Colin Murray's skill set can bring alongside Wemby and like having such a dynamic and difficult to score on defense. But Murray-Boyles also comes with risks too, and I think that that's why the answer is going to be just sticking and picking Dylan Harper. But I do think that there's like an opportunity to be like pretty ambitious and creative by going off the mark here, and if they trade down, potentially taking him. But I think if they stay at 2, I'm taking Dylan Harper here.
All right, fantastic. Good analysis. So you're not.
I would say I really don't like this fit for Harper. I feel like they're boxing themselves into like the Fox, Castle, Harper thing. Like I don't think they're gonna move Fox. They're probably just gonna extend him. And like Fox and Harper long term, like I don't really like. I mean, like Harper's like good off ball, and like I guess if the shot develops, that's fine. But like to me, like the Spurs, I feel like should probably try to trade for Giannis. Like I think Harper to like Milwaukee makes a lot of sense. I think like even if you have to give up like Vassell and Harper, and like I don't know, I think that makes more sense than like trying to develop Harper, Fox, Castle all together. I don't know. It seems clunky to me, and I don't think it's good for his development, but I think they'll end up just taking Harper probably.
Hell yeah.
I would trade this pick for Giannis in a heartbeat. 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, that would just be so much better. And like, obviously the Spurs would have to put other stuff in there, but like for
Yeah.
Giannis, it's worth it. And I think, like I don't think it's I agree with you about the Fox Harper fit long term. I don't think it's the end of the world if you extend Fox. He's primarily running the offense while Harper, I mean, like he's still going to be a rookie guard. Like he could be good, but it's probably going to be like 2 or 3 years before he's like really good. And by then, you can trade Fox and you might not get back. What did they give up for him? Like 4 picks. You might get like 2 picks back or something.
I guess my fear
think
with that is that
it's not the end.
like a point guard like Harper, like you want them to like control the offense and like develop through those mistakes. And like I feel like the Spurs are like trying to be like, oh, we want like Wemby is so good on a rookie contract, like this is our time to like go in and win. And like I don't know if they're gonna let him like work through all the mistakes that like even like a super high level prospect like ball control point guard, they're gonna like have like a lot of bad mistakes. Like I'm just worried it's gonna be like, oh, Fox is a better player now, so like Harper like go stand in the corner, and like he's not gonna develop as well as if he was in like Milwaukee or like even like the Hornets or like Jazz or something where he just has the ball like the whole time and like just plays through all the mistakes. But
I get your perspective. I do. Me from the outside, I'm pretty skeptical of their ability to be a contender right now because I look at their roster and I don't think that there's much depth of talent there. And I think, um, as good as Wemby is, I do think that you need a lot more depth than what they have, and maybe they'll be aggressive this offseason to build a team around him. The Wemby rookie contract thing. I mean, they've already used 2 out of the 4 years, and like, if you're having a rookie guard like Dylan Harper do like what 25% usage, like you're probably not going to be a contender with a rookie guard being like your second or third lead ball handler. Like I just don't think that they're there yet, even if they might want to be. But that's just my perspective. I think with Harper having another guard like Fox to just run the offense through some of maybe the growing pains is helpful. I don't necessarily think that it's always the right thing to draft especially guard, which I think is probably like the hardest to transition into the NBA because I think that the gap between college guards and NBA guards is so big compared to maybe the other positions. I think that having a guy who can be there and sort of like you're like riding passenger some of the time when things are getting tough, I think it could be beneficial for him. But I think that it's a really tough guard combination to make work in the long term. And like for me, Castle, like to me, he's just such a complimentary piece. Like I really am not just factoring him in as anything other than a role player. Like I don't think that he's going to be stepping on anyone's toes. I don't think that he's good enough offensively to justify that, in my opinion.
yeah,
But I mean, I think that the Spurs. I mean, I put here when I was like coming up with a hypothesis for what they were going to do, I was like, well, are they trading for Kevin Durant? Because that also throws off like everything about because if they trade for Kevin Durant, then they are absolutely trying to be a contender. Um and I don't know like what's going on there, but for Dylan Harper, then I mean with if you're playing with KD and Wemby, you have all the spacing in the world, but you're also like being asked to be a contender as a rookie. It's not the best place to be.
Yeah.
Yep. Spurs. Interesting. Trade, no trade, who fucking knows? Up next, number 3. Fucking the team we're waiting for, dude. The Sixers. They tanked all year. Now this is where the
Tanked
draft
all year.
starts, they say.
Okay, well, that's what they say. Yeah, I mean, so there's like the thing of like what I would want to do and what I think they will do, and that's sort of I think the overarching narrative of this whole thing. Yeah, because we jumped in the lottery and because it was kind of a maybe a fluke tank year. If Joel comes back, you get this like Warriors 2 timelines thing going on, right? And so what the Sixers have really been like broadcasting is like we want someone who's going to help us win now and also builds towards some sort of core in the future. Ultimately, I mean, based on everything everyone's saying and the way things are reporting right now, it seems like it's going to be VJ, who I'm trying to come around to Mr. Valdez, Edgecombe Jr. himself. I see it and I get it and I don't love it and it's not really what I would do with the 3rd pick, but if we're being even remotely realistic, I think that's like most likely what happens now. The other thing I've been seeing in the drafts is just like trade down fantasies, just like trade down fan fiction, which like would be great if they want to like give us, Herb Jones, or like we want to get 3 for 4 and a late first and then 4 for 6 and another late first or whatever, like fine. But I think assuming we're not doing trades and stuff, then it's probably VJ. It gives you, like it is that thing of having a solid foundation in the future and being able to contribute now. He's got that like Daryl Morey draft pedigree where he's the real lunch pail guy, first and last out, very coachable, always wants to learn more, always getting better, all that stuff that we heard about Maxey and we heard about McCain. He's maybe like the best sure bet available at 3, I would say, in terms of like, I mean, we had discourse about this today, but I feel like the likelihood of him being like a total bust is pretty low. I think he will at least be like a contributing, the like role player, He also has a lot of like auxiliary skills. So even if the shooting takes a while to develop or to translate, you've got secondary playmaking. He's like a hustle energy guy. He's a solid perimeter defender. And then also just considering like some of the things that I feel like are lacking in his game, or maybe I don't see him go to as much as I would like, are at least in part a factor of just the role he had to play at Baylor. I haven't watched like a lot of his FIBA tape or like high school stuff, but people who have said that, when he got to play point guard, when he had the ball in his hands more, he was given more liberty to do what he wanted to do. He had some flashes that were intriguing. Of course, there's like the positional fit, and that's like the real thing, right? Is the other option is, of course, Ace, which every day seems less and less likely, which I'm making peace with. But the thing with VJ is it just feels like positionally clunky to me a little bit. I'm worried that we're not respecting McCain as an organization as much as I would like to. I know it's only like a 20-game sample his rookie year, but at the same time, it's like a really damn good 20-game sample. And I would, at least to some extent, factor that into the future. But like Brendan was saying today, having like 4 good guards that can be on the floor for 48 minutes is like, there's something to be said, especially with the idea of having VJ and Grimes, who are both like slightly larger, defensively oriented guards that can really like help to cover up. Maxey and McCain, you'd like to think that at least one of them will be on the floor whenever Maxey or McCain is, and just allows them to focus more on what they're good at. And then hopefully having like that much compounding perimeter defense helps to alleviate some of the pressure on Joel as well defensively. And then I guess down the road, if VJ pans out and we're doing well and the team's looking good, that makes Grimes expendable, and we would be able to trade him for a forward in theory, which could then fill that hole. Of course, we have to like talk about Ace like a little bit. We don't have to get into the particulars because it's irrelevant if we're passing on him, but like the reports about his camp not wanting to schedule workouts and wanting like a clear pathway to stardom and buying into a role. Like, I'm not a big like mental guy. It feels like that's the same stuff they said about like Ant, or they said about like Jason Tatum to an extent, and then like, oh, turns out they're a superstar and they're not on our team. But I think the Sixers are always sort of in like a precarious vibes situation, and it feels like we're always like one thing away from the whole organization falling down. And so I think it's fair to be mindful of the impact that like having someone come in who doesn't want to be there and isn't happy with their role would have. So this is all just me kind of coping my way into saying I think we are going with Mr. Valdez Edgecombe Jr. with the 3rd pick.
Hell yeah. So is there anybody else?
I agree. I agree that that's probably the pick. If it wasn't, since I agree with you that I don't think like Ace for a lot of reasons fits like what the Sixers want to draft. I have my personal opinions about him, but I just think like he does not fit the type of player that I think that Daryl will want to draft. Who for you, Daniel, if it wasn't VJ, is there anyone, and it's not Ace, is there anyone else that you would be like, maybe that this is a better pick than VJ, or like any thought about that at all?
3, it's hard, right? Because it's like I really like Malawach, and I would like very much consider taking him. It feels like that is a reach at 3, and again, if it's so dependent. Like if you think Joel's coming back and he's going to be 85% of the player he's been, then it really probably doesn't make sense to draft him at 3. And if you don't think Joel's coming back, then that's going to fundamentally shift our draft like outlook in general. So it's hard to say. Like there's guys that I think if we were offered one of those deals, right, where it's like trade back to 6 or 7 and you get an extra first and maybe you get a good contributor from a team that's looking to bottom out, then yeah, I would consider Malawach. I think Colin Murray Boyles is like really interesting. And I think in a world where like Joel is not going to be Joel the same again, then that's something I would definitely consider, like someone who just like has like crazy outlier skills that would like in theory like complement like Maxey and McCain really well, right? But I think if we're sticking at 3, it's kind of just those 2 for me.
Yeah, I would really like a trade back because I think that there's a lot of guys who all have risks and benefits in their profile, and I would just say, give me whatever the extra player and draft capital on top, and I'll take whichever one of these like equal level of risk reward prospects falls to me. Like that's how I would handle it. I think VJ, I think that there's potential because his archetype, like a lot of them have growing pains early in the NBA, but I also think that he showed more dynamism in college than some of those guys and has a lot more ways that he can contribute where if, like you were saying, Daniel, like if the shot's not falling, he has other things that he can contribute and like get him on the court, even though we do have a pretty competitive guard rotation. I don't think that he's gonna get like imprisoned in the G League team like Rob Dillingham did on the Timberwolves. Like I think that we will find a place for him, but it might be hard some weeks and some nights for him to get as many minutes as he wants if the other guys are on.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Any other big takes on the Sixers?
Now-
Ooh, go for it.
I think the takes are that the Hornets are livid that we just took VJ Edgecombe.
True.
Yeah, maybe. We're going to find out in a moment. But first, we have a fucking replacement. Big VJ dropped out. Can't do it. He's at work. Prayers up to you, VJ. Thank you, King.
He's at work.
Yup.
Not on Juneteenth Eve.
He's having drinks. He's not at work.
Wow. Okay. Damn. I'm staring his fucking laundry, bro. But yeah, joining us whenever he joins in. He said he was joining after this pick. I don't know if the stream's lagging. I told him to hop in. But Baller SP will be coming in as the sub
Let's go.
DJ.
Let's go.
Joining us from
Not salty about getting snubbed.
Bro, no snub, no snub. We love Baller SP here. Yeah.
See how they come crawling.
Ooh.
Oh,
look.
shit.
What's up,
Wow.
Nothing.
Coming to us from the In-N-Out drive-through.
That's right.
Baller,
Thanks
how
for
are you
having me.
doing tonight? What do you think about the picks so far? Do you have any analysis for these first three?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to make a point about the Spurs. I actually think Harper's like a really great fit with the team. I know it's like there's a lot going on with Castle and Fox being there as well, but I think specifically like Harper and Wemby are perfect for each other because Harper is a downhill guard who likes getting to the rim. Wemby is a stretch five, which like you can really take
And a
advantage
love
of
threat.
both of the exactly, yeah, and you could really take advantage of both of their skill sets. Where like Wemby, the benefit of a stretch five is it pulls the defensive center away, and so that allows a lane for Harper to get in there and get to the rim even easier, and then finish with his great efficiency. So
I would say
I think
that
that's
like
good.
for every prospect, playing with Wemby would be the best outcome for them. Like that
Yeah.
helps everybody's game look better. So yeah.
Yeah, but I think specifically Harper, like his elite skill is getting to the rim, and so I think it's like kind of a perfect fit there.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything else.
No,
is good.
I mean, I see what you mean. Like, even like if we were to compare like Dylan Harper and VJ Edgecombe working with Wemby, it's like yes, they would both benefit from working with Wemby, but like as Baller was saying, Harper gets to the rim so often and is so good there that opening up the space for him is really threatening to the defense. And VJ, for as athletic as he is like low-key a little shaky at the rim, so maybe it would help to have someone like Wemby who makes it easier for him, but he also
Right.
might not fit from that advantage as much as Harper would.
Yeah, it would just like for VJ having that space, it would be like so different than at Baylor, where it's like there's no space, especially just in college in general. I mean, like there's so much more space in the NBA, and then playing with Wemby,
Yes, yeah.
like. But I see what Baller's saying. I can respect that.
Shout out Baller. Oh shit.
All right, am I up?
I believe so.
All right, we're ready to shock the world here. We are going. The Charlotte Hornets are selecting Trey Johnson
Wow.
at
Oh, whoa.
Okay, so the thinking here with us, we love Ace Bailey. He's a great prospect, great player. Right? We love Ace. we do not like him in Charlotte. We don't think this is the place for him to thrive. We don't want him on the ball 24/7. We don't want free reign for Ace Bailey. He needs to be reined in a little with some good coaching and some structure, which we do not have in Charlotte. Trey Johnson, on the other hand, I think would getting the ball in his hands more, letting him cook a little, letting him work through some mistakes with the passing, let him improve the passing. I think it's kind of like a perfect fit for Trey Johnson, honestly. Him and Brandon Miller would be crazy. Yeah, I think long term, Trey Johnson and Brandon Miller, like that's a pretty good spot. I mean, LaMelo, I feel like probably is like kind of gonna get traded eventually. Like I don't see him like long term there. So I think if I was the Hornets, I'll be pretty happy getting Trey Johnson. I feel like Ace Bailey, there's too much risk there for that franchise. So we're going Trey. Elite shooter, can get any shot on the court. He's probably going to average like 26 by like year 3 in Charlotte. Like he's going to score the ball. And yeah, that's what we're doing.
Flop is seething right now, dude.
Yeah, with Trey, it's like if they trade LaMelo, I think it makes a little more sense. I'm just like LaMelo, high usage 3-point shooter who's not the best at the rim. Trey Johnson, high usage 3-point shooter, not the best at the rim. Brandon Miller, I think, has also had some struggles at the rim. Now maybe as they all get older, they might start to fix it. It's like a lot of the same kind of issue here. But if they're trading LaMelo, I think it makes a little more sense to have a player like this around. But
yeah, I would say that Melo is like, I'm assuming that Melo is not like the long-term like franchise guy there. Like I just don't think that's.
I'm actually surprised. I'm surprised he's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lonzo's on a podcast like every other week talking about how much he's a Clipper.
Yeah.
Literally.
So I'm assuming that he's gone. And like, I don't know, I kind of just believe in Trey Johnson's like development more than a lot of other guys. Especially just like, I don't think he needs like a system. Like I think Ace needs like a system where he can like be developed. Like I think Trey Johnson, like if you give him the ball and like let him like work on himself, like he will become a better player. Like I don't think he's like gonna build like terrible habits or whatever. So yeah, that's my thinking.
What are your thoughts on the
This
defense?
isn't basketball. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
He's a pretty bad defender, and I think like I would not really. I mean, that's the argument for Ace. Like Ace's potential is like a two-way guy, like a two-way star. Trey's probably never going to be like a two-way star. Like I think he could eventually like bulk up a little and be like average on defense. Like, you know, he's like relatively long. Like he's pretty big for like, you know, if you call him like a 2, like I think he's got decent size. He is athletic. Like he doesn't really show it on the court that much, but he is athletic. So like maybe just a little more coaching on the defense, like he'll become decent. Like I think Maxey is kind of like that. Like he's like athletic, long. Like he wasn't good on defense, but like now he's pretty good. Especially like with the added size. So I think there's potential there for him to get better, but I think you're drafting him for like star scoring upside, like high efficiency, like can just put the ball in the basket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't basketball related. I just thought if VJ was off the board, I just think that they'll probably take one of the 2 Duke guys because they're local. And I do think like theoretically, like they both Khan and Malawach would like mostly fit their team. But if you think that they're trading LaMelo and they think that they're trading LaMelo, I can see why they would go for someone who seems more of an on-ball creator type.
Yeah. I also like just for like the Malawach thing, like I think anything like up here is way too rich for him. Like I think he's probably, and like I think in the actual draft, like I don't see him going in the top 10, but that's just me. And we can talk about that when he.
I think.
Yes.
I think he could go in the back half, but I don't think that he'll go in like the top, at least not the top 5.
Yeah. That would be like if the Hornets took Malowach, like that would be a crazy pick. Like that would be a stretch and a half. But we'll see.
All or nothing to say for your boy Trey.
Yeah, I think this is the right pick for the Hornets. I like Trey Johnson. I'm a big fan of his. I think he's the best shooter in the draft. I think he's one of the best shooters we've seen in the past 10 years coming out of the draft. Especially like considering production and efficiency. He can kind of get off any three. He can get to a shot at any point. And I think this adds, it gives Charlotte a chance to be exciting. Like they could be an offensive team, have something. I think the Sixers taking Edgecombe really fucks up both the Hornets and then when we'll get to it, the next pick with the Jazz. But I mean, LaMelo, Trey Johnson, Brandon Miller, I think that's exciting.
Hell yeah.
A lot of threes. A lot of threes.
Yeah.
Many threes.
Get some points on the board.
The game's about a bucket.
The game's about a fucking bucket, dude.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. Going from 3s to 4s to 5. 5th pick. Utah Jazz. Who are they taking?
All right. I'm pulling up to the in and out window, so I'll do this quick and then you guys can talk and I'll jump back in. But Utah Jazz are taking Ace Bailey. I think this is the worst outcome for the Jazz, like 3 and 4. I think Edgecombe would have been better for them. I think Trey Johnson is their ideal pick. Ace is like, I think you guys touched on it. You would like to see him in a bit more of a structure. But the Jazz kind of need star talent. They don't have any really young stars. They have a lot of like interesting guys, but no stars. So you look at it, I mean, like Con Kneppel, sure, you got the white guy thing in Utah. That's like another role player. I like Jeremiah Fears, like at this level on the big board, but he's similar to Isaiah Collier. We're not a great shooter yet. Needs the ball, attacks the rim. So I think there's too much clash there. So I'm going with Ace Bailey.
I think like I actually really like Fears for the Jazz, but I think if Ace Bailey falls to 5, you just have to take him. Like
I think there was a report today.
I don't think they will.
Really wants him. Really?
It was Scoop B who said that like he was trying to take
then disregard
his way away from Utah, but there has been like other reporting that it sounds like Ace is trying to somewhat control where he goes. So I don't think it's like they're I don't think it's also like crazy. I do think that they would take Trey if he fell to 5, and I do think that Fears is also when I like look at the types of players that they keep drafting, like Fears and Trey seem like the fit more than Ace Bailey to me.
So you think if like Fears and Bailey were both there, you think they're taking Fears over Bailey?
That would be my guess. Yeah.
Okay.
I think
it's interesting.
I think that they have gone for a lot of creator guards. I think they not necessarily have all worked out. And I think that if there's any smoke to these Ace rumors that he's like not interested in the Jazz or certain teams, I just think that if you're the Jazz, then stay away. Like why not? Like I think Fears, even though he's another on-ball guy like Collier, like, and I'm not even the biggest Jeremiah Fears guy, I think that he's clearly gonna be a better basketball player than Isaiah Collier and Keontae George. Like I just think that he's much better at basketball than they are.
Yeah.
My concern with Fears here.
They need a guard.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my concern with Fears here is, like, I think he has a very limited team around him. He's a creator, and he needs finishers, like shooters, finishers, maybe a lob threat. And like the Jazz, I think are really thin on talent right now. So like I love Fears as a player, but I think this wouldn't be a great fit for him.
They're still gonna tank. Like they're probably gonna try and get a top pick next draft anyway.
I think from I get what you're saying, but also like they would give him the ball and let him like do his thing. Like there's spots where he could go where it would be like not really playing through mistakes enough, like what I was saying about Harper. But I still think like even if you think Fears is like if they're on their board, they're thinking like, oh, we want Fears, we want this guy, that guy. I think if Bailey falls to you at 5, like at that point, I think it's worth the risk. Like I think Bailey has enough star upside, like he could change your franchise potentially. Like it's very risky, but I just think there's too much upside there to pass on at 5 for me.
I agree.
Yeah, and I think with Ace Bailey, like the thing, I'm a big Ace Bailey fan. I would love the Sixers to take him at 3. He'd be my first choice. But and the thing that really stands out to me is just the skill that he has at 18 years old, and I think that's like a pretty big indicator of development. He has great footwork. He's a shot maker. I think he was asked to create a lot at Rutgers in a way that like you would not want him to do in the NBA, at least early on. But yeah, I think he has every chance to be like a star wing. And I see a lot. This is a lofty comparison, but I see a little bit of Tatum in him, where like it's a guy who had this skill as a shot maker in college. Tatum, they actually had very, very similar numbers when you look at it. Tatum was on a better team in a better system. Tatum gets to the rim a little bit better. But I think that is an outcome for him. Not saying he'll get there, but I think that's a decent outcome.
I think Tatum like had more ways to get like easier shots. Like he had more like on ball creation than Bailey does, like by a lot, I would say. But yeah, I see that kind of like development. Like that's what you would like hope. Like that's like try to be Jason Tatum. Like that's what you would probably want him to be striving for.
By the way, who drafted Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, 2 very raw wings? Danny Ainge, who is the GM of the Jazz. I think that's like the one reason why you could really see why they would take a shot on him.
Wow.
That's true. Good point.
Real. Utah Jazz.
Right, Sal.
Ace is off the board. The case for Ace. Fuck, I was gonna take him. All right.
So you probably have to like start stepping in a little and being like, all right, next pick.
Wait, you want me to cut y'all off? We can do that. All right.
We're 5 picks in. It's been 50 minutes, so we gotta like.
How many are we trying to do the whole first round?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit! All right, I'll cut you boys off.
I'm not
there's
gonna
gonna
have
be-
that much to
there's gonna
say
be
about like
less to
Walter
say.
Yeah,
Clayton.
it'll speed up, but
There'll be less to say. These picks are much more consequential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
true.
It's noted that I'm not a draft expert, so I don't know what the fuck to do with the Wizards. So I'm inclined to just take the guy everyone's been talking about. Everyone's been saying, I know Alex Sarr, he's at the center. I'm taking fucking Common Malawach. I don't know. Let him play the 4. Not Malawach, the other guy. What's the first? Sarr.
Yeah, Sarr wants
Sarr
to
wants
be
to
Anthony Davis so bad.
Perfect.
Yeah.
He wants
play
something to be centers, yeah.
So yeah, Common Malawach is now a Wizard. Washington enjoys some big man hoops. Fun young team. Can't fucking pick a guard, so that's easy picks done. I don't know. There's no like forwards that I'm excited about. Common Malawach is the name I know, so we're taking him with the Wizards. Takes, picks, thoughts.
Yeah, you can't beat that, so can't argue with it.
I like this. If Sarr wants to play the 4, well, him and Malawach will just be an insanely like tall front court. I mean, I think that Sarr has a lot of developing to do before I believe in him as a real guy to build around, but it is interesting. And the Wizards like drafting like these high character guys. The new front office wants to draft these high character guys, and like Malawach has gotten like pretty rave reviews from the Duke people about his personality, so I think it fits there. I would be surprised if the Wizards end up taking him, but I don't think it's like a messy fit, and I think just what he can do as a screener and a lob catcher will probably help someone like Bob Carrington become like a better offensive creator, because I don't think he's going to be a guy who's like winning with an explosive first step. I think he's going to need that type of help from someone who can screen him open to be able to do things. And I think Malawach isn't going to be good enough as a rookie to stop, the Wizards from tanking for a high pick next year anyway. So if this is what they go with, I think it works out well for them. I kind of feel like that there's a lot of prospects that they could take here, and I think that I don't think that their team is like too set for them to be too stingy about guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like where the Wizards are in terms of like who they can add. Like, you could go like Knipple here would make a lot of sense and like be really good. Like, I would love if they got Knipple. I feel like that's a really nice fit. I mean, Malwatch is a good fit, but like I feel like it's just early for him. Like, there's too much risk for me at that point. But
I also was reading next year is the last year that one of the first round picks that the Wizards traded can convey, and the only way that they get to keep it is if it's top 4. So they're probably more and it's a deeper draft next year, so they're probably more incentivized than usual to like get someone who's going to be a long-term project.
That's true. Maybe not a con then.
I really do like Malawak at this pick. I think it gives him an identity. Sorry, I'm parallel parking right now. I think it gives him an identity. With Sar, because like then you have like defensive anchor. It lets Sar kind of have a little more freedom. And then you're also, I think Malawak has pretty high upside. So you're kind of taking a shot here. And then they also have a pick at 18. So, you have a bailout if it doesn't work out immediately too.
Oh yeah.
I don't think his upside is like as high as people are like making out to be. Like, I don't know. His hands like suck. Like, he like struggles to catch the ball. Like,
I don't agree with that. Dude, he was such a good lob threat. How do his hands suck?
Well, his hands are small, and also like he
has tiny hands.
His coordination like is not good. Like, he can't rebound well for his size. Like, he can't like go and get the ball. Like, he can dunk because he's like fucking like 8 feet over the rim, like on lobs, which is fine. Like that works. But like, I just don't think he's ever gonna be like a top 3 like offensive player on your team or something. So I don't see like the start.
By the shooting touch?
How many centers are? How many centers are?
Well,
are
there's three top 3 centers.
But that's the thing is like, then why not like draft like a different center later in the like draft? Like, there's plenty of guys that can be like potentially like a very good defensive center who can catch lobs. That's just what I'm feeling with Malawach at this point.
Are they going to switch as well? And would they have potential shooting upside?
Would they have what?
I think that's would they switch as well, and would they have potential shooting upside?
Yeah.
That would be like the one big difference.
Those are the 2 swings for me with Malawach. It's just he moves really well in space on defense, and the shooting touch is definitely there. I don't know if it like he becomes like an actual reliable NBA 3-point shooter, but like I can see that pathway more than I could for like Thomas Sorber or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess like for the shooting upside, I just struggle with like a guy that's not like a primary offensive like force. Is like, how many threes is he putting up? Like if he takes like 2 a game,
lower mid volume, yeah.
Yeah, like if he takes 2 a game and like makes like them at like a 37% clip, which would be like really good for his development. It's like, what's that really doing for me? I guess, but
I just think he's such a good pick and roll big, like in college, and like a part of that was that he had a lot of good players around him. But like, so you have this incredible pick and roll big, the most efficient in college. Carrington was a really good pick and roll guy in college, and I think that in the NBA that's probably what he'll do. So now you're creating at least like one good way to generate offense, and then if Malawach adds a 3, then he can do a pick and pop everyone. Dramatically change who he is, no, but it does give like one other way that you can generate offense. But yeah, I can see what you mean, where it's like he can't create for himself. Like, he can't. Everything for him needs to be assisted.
Yeah.
Another team that needs assistance, dog shit team, New Orleans Pelicans. Their star, not a good guy teams. Fucking players, not very good. With this pick is flopping. I'm doing a 3-minute timer now so that you guys can enjoy your night after this.
Yes, I'll be quick here. F Zion, F this team. This team is trash. I think that I don't know what they're doing this offseason. I could see them trading up to the Spurs spot. I could see them doing nothing like usual. I could see them like selling Herb Jones and Trey Murphy. I could see them just bringing it all back. Like I don't really know what they plan on doing. If I were to go like best person that I think is still on the board for me is CMB. He's a terrible fit with Zion, so I don't think that the Pelicans should take him. So I would look at this and I mean, I wish that there was a point guard that I believed in more here than Jeremiah Fears. I think that I would probably just take Con Knipple here, add a spacer and a guy because like they do have a lot of offensive guys. Like if DeJounte Murray comes back, he's like a 3-level scorer. Like Evil Zion will score points when he's healthy. Like Trey Murphy can shoot. Like just throwing another like low usage off ball guy who could potentially scale up every once in a while. I think Con Knipple like could fit here and like be out of the way while also contributing from time to time and creating space for them. I don't none of the other picks that are available. Like you're not going to draft Derek Queen for this team. It would be so weird. Like Palmer Boyles doesn't really fit with them either. Like I think that they would be a potential Jeremiah Fears team, or if Ace falls here, I think that they would take him, and I think Ace will probably fall around this far. But I think that I would just take Khan here in this situation for the Pelicans.
I think I'd probably do Fears. I think for at least like in the past few years, they've direly like had a dire need for a point guard. They're in a really weird spot now, so I don't know like if that's gonna fix them in any sort of way. But I like the idea of I think they have enough shooting on the team to like surround Fears. He can create and get the ball over to shooters and finishers. Like Zion's a finisher. Trey Murphy can catch lobs. Yves Misi is a lob threat. I personally like Fears, but I don't think Con Knipple's a bad choice for any team, really. Honestly,
Hell
I think
yeah.
if they go with Fears, that makes sense.
Fears, a guard. Another team that has a guard named Cam Thomas. Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, right. I mean, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? None of these guys are good. I'm not making choices based on Cam Thomas. I'm not making choices based on Cam Johnson. I'm not making choices based on Day'Ron Sharpe or Nick Claxton or D'Angelo Russell. It's just like, and I mean, they got that like pick haul from the McCall trade, but to my knowledge, none of them are like projected to be top of the lottery either. So like, I think you just have to be taking swings every time you can. And I don't like this player. I don't think he's going to be good. He's not my guy, but I would probably have them take Fears here. I think to Will's point about like some guys needing an environment just to cook, to my mind, if he's going to be successful, he's probably one of those guys. And I can't think of a team that like is as directionless and like you could just. I mean, like Cam Thomas just kind of did that, right? Like he just kind of like had the ball in his hands for a couple of years and like did his thing. And ultimately, I don't think it's going to make a big enough difference, like in terms of like winning games, which is probably good for them. They probably shouldn't start winning more games. I don't suspect a lot of those players are going to be on the team in a year, so there's not really any fit I'm trying to build around. Fears he just has like some outlier traits, and I think that at this point is enough to be like, I'm going to take a swing on like a creator who is like super fast, can get downhill, draws fouls at a really impressive clip, is like a good mid-range shooter, isn't afraid. Like I don't know if his rim numbers are great, but it's like watching him, just like he's not like afraid of contact. So I think he'd be fun to watch. I think he gives them something that they don't really have right now. And I think when you're in the position that Brooklyn is, like you just got to take swings on guys.
Real.
Cosign.
All right. Jeremiah Fears going to Brooklyn. Next up, fucking 9, Toronto Raptors. They're going to get another forward. We find out.
So I'm kind of struggling with this one a little bit, but I think I'm just going to go for like what I would say is best player available at this point and go CMB. I think like the defense is too good to pass up. I think like I don't know. I don't think the shot's ever gonna come really, but he just seems like a winner. He seems like at 9, like has great value. Like could be the best defensive player in the NBA at some point. Like he's like really fucking good at defense. So yeah, CMB.
CMB going to the land of the CLB, certified lover boy, Drake.
Free him. Free him.
Nice.
Those bars, bro.
This fit is so disgusting. Like
This is the nastiest team of all time, but I think they absolutely would do it. Yeah.
I mean, they should trade like literally everybody on their team. So it's like just take.
Who would want their players? All their players stink.
Well, then you should draft who you think is going to be best because like their team's fucked. So it's like
I do think if you're like, okay, we have a bunch of guys who are like at best 1 tier below sub all-stars, and they're all making $25 to $35 million a year, and like none of it's going to mean anything, then I think like starting from like this is the prototypical Raptor we would want, kind of like they did with Scotty, I guess. Like it makes sense. Nasty, but it makes sense.
And also like CMB, like I feel like you fit like kind of around him. Like if certain players aren't working with him, like then stop playing them, and like he's gonna be like an impactful like winning player. So I think like I feel like they want to win, so like he'll probably help them win. I don't think they want like some raw prospect that's like not gonna be doing anything for him.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, RIP VJ. We have the Houston Rockets picking at 10. I don't know. They went to they were good this year, I think. Who are they gonna pick?
Honestly, I think this is a tough spot, and I'm probably going to piss off VJ no matter what I do here. It's difficult. I don't know where to go because I don't know if they're making a Kevin Durant trade. If they don't, I think they have a lot of wings already. But at this point in the board, the best players are wings. I think like the team needs shooting in guard play. So maybe go Jace Richardson. I'm honestly undecided. I think
That's rich.
I'm not in love
it.
with Jace. Like I think but it also depends what happens with Jalen Green. There's a lot that's up in the air here. If they make the KD trade, I could go for a wing, in which case I'd probably take Cedric Howard. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think?
So who are you
I
taking?
think that they're the analytics sicko front office. They just draft like the people with the best analytics. So like if I would totally buy that they would Chase Richardson here anyway, and they do need a guard. I think
let's do that.
Jonas. I saw Jonas was another guy linked to them. I agree with you. Like the wings, and if they consolidate for KD, they may need one. But I think that they do need they need creators and shooters. Like that's what they need they need guards.
Could I throw a name out there? That's a little interesting. What about Derek Queen here?
I don't know about having him and Şengün on the same team.
But see, I think that could be fun. Like if they could play,
it would be funny.
Yeah, if they could play together, that would be pretty sick. I mean, the defense isn't going to be good, but
that's the thing is, I so much of this is based off of just hearing what VJ says because it's the only Rockets fan in my life I get to hear complain all the time. But it feels like he's already so frustrated about the interior defense, and Steven Adams was such a factor in that series that I probably wouldn't zag away from that at this point and bring in another undersized big with interior D concerns. Although it would be fun.
Yeah, I think the upside is pretty high there, though. If you took Queen,
totally agree.
More so than Jace or something.
Şengün is sneaky good on defense now. I think that he might I thought his offense last year was kind of questionable. The scoring was not super efficient. He is a good passer, but he turns it over a lot. I think he's a little more of the defense is maybe a little bit more reliable than the offense, which I think is kind of inconsistent at this point. But him and Derek Queen, it's the same concept of a player, which is funny.
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
think
I think
that's
it's almost
Did
like having
Muller-
it's like having
He's
two very
still on
similar
team.
guys.
yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
Yeah. I don't know. I think they're in a weird spot at 10 here. I could see them making a trade. You know, obviously they're rooming for KD, but like I could see them just trading out of this pick also.
yeah,
I can see
definitely.
them trading up.
Yep.
But yeah, I'll go with Jace.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of Jace, but like I think they fit. I think him and Eamon Thompson kind of work together in a way because Eamon, the defender, you want him to have the ball. He's athletic, so we can kind of cover for Jace's defense. Jace doesn't have to create as much, so Jace can kind of do his thing. He can kind of do what Jalen Green does in a way.
I think that this is like the perfect fit for Jace. He doesn't have to really create that much on his own. They have like guys who can create, and he just has to focus on off-ball scoring.
All right, Jace Richardson going to the Rockets. Next up, another black and red team in the fucking Western Conference. Portland
Nice segue.
Trailblazers. I know, dude. We're killing it out here. What can I say? Portland Trailblazers. The Trailblazers, dude, they're fucking weird. They have like good players, I think, but also they're not good every year, so that's upsetting. I'm not ready to give up on Scoot yet, so I'll be shying away from guard. I'm gonna go forward here. This is where we're gonna take Danny Wolf off the board.
Whoa.
Jeepers.
Wow.
Dude,
Jeepers
Back-to-back
creepers.
centers.
that's
I don't
crazy.
know, someone. Is that cool?
Mike Schmitz is rolling in his fucking grave.
I mean, I think Danny Wolf is like so fun and interesting as a player. I have no idea if it'll work in the NBA, but I'm like intrigued.
Yeah, I think
this
he's
is
cool.
a weird team for him to be on.
I love Danny
He's
Wolf.
like the opposite of Klingon.
But
He's
it's
like
rich.
the total opposite of Donovan Klingon as a big.
Yeah.
The fun thing about Wolf here is that the Trailblazers just are never going to be a serious team. So it's like, who cares? Go
Hey,
cook.
man, well, I don't hate what the Trailblazers are doing, low key.
No, I kind of like what they got going.
Yeah.
And so in that respect, it's like I think if they wanted to, like, if they liked parts of Danny Wolf's game and like Derek Queen was still on the board here, like I would maybe go for that.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I forgot.
That presents you
Actually-
with some interesting combinations. Like you could get him and Tumani going. You could get him and Donovan Klingon maybe together.
Definitely.
I
think
think that
personally-
they need a guard. I think they need a guard. I think Scoot, I'm not sold on him. He could be good. I think Simons is probably out of there in the next year. And I'm not even sure that Shaden Sharp is like actually a point guard who can create. He might be an off-ball player. So I don't think like guard's not a need for them, but Wolf is fun.
I think they could also use a wing. Tumani's great on defense, and he has use on offense. Like he does a lot of things, but he's not like a go-to guy.
No, he's not
He's not a
creating at all.
scorer. He's not.
Yeah,
scoring.
so like I think they could take a shot at a wing here too. I mean, I honestly anything for the
Yeah.
Trailblazers here.
They're in a good spot, I think kind of like the Wizards. Like the way they're positioned is pretty nice. I think they can take a lot of swings.
11 is a little early, but I would be interested in a Rasheer Fleming swing for them.
Yeah.
I think that could be a cool fit as well.
I like that fit for them too.
But they got Danny Wolf, and that's pretty cool too.
I like it.
Let's go, dude. All right. From 2 red and black teams in the West to 1 in the fucking East. Chicago Bulls. Number 12.
I can't believe that they're extending Billy Donovan and Carter Sovis. I don't know what this team is thinking. If I was one of their fans, I'd be rooting for them to draft the biggest bust possible so that their GM gets fired finally, but if that's not going to happen. I actually had Danny Wolf as one of my top potential picks here. I was just looking at their roster, and it's like Vooch is about done. They don't really have any centers they're committed to, so I was like, maybe Derek Queen, maybe Danny Wolf, maybe Thomas Sorber. Queen falling this far, he's probably the one who's most likely to, if I'm not so sold on Derek Queen because I think that the scoring needed to be better in college for like what his archetype is, and like honestly for like the handle that he has, I feel like he should have been able to score better on these college guys. I think it should have been a better mismatch. So I have a little bit of concern about what he looks like in the NBA and if the scoring and passing will live up to like what he needs to be. I don't think his defense is necessarily that terrible, but I would take him because maybe he does find a way to parlay like this shot creation and some level of touch into being a star, and the Bulls just don't have really anything to build around other than Matas Buzelis. If I wasn't going to go with a big here, I think Sengu would be a great fit for them with Matas. They'd have a super athletic forward rotation. Or I could see them just drafting a Lithuanian Jakachonis, and he's from isn't he from Chicago? I could see them doing that too. I don't know. Like they have so little talent. Just take whatever. But I think I'm gonna go with Derek Queen here.
Oh, Silas is gonna be so happy.
I think this is like a pretty funny pick for them. Like, I don't know. Like after the Vooch situation, like getting Derek Queen, who could possibly be just like another Vooch, is like pretty funny. So I like it.
Oh, what you said about hoping for them to draft a bust here so the GM gets fired. I personally don't believe in Yakuchonis that much at all. And I think there's a decent chance they pick him because they seem to like their local guys. Went to Illinois and everything. So I think there's a chance that happens.
I think he'll be like a bench guard, which like is that a bust at the 12th pick? You decide. I can't see him being like a starting guard in the NBA.
Yeah, not a starting guard in the NBA, but you know who is? Trae Young. He's on the Atlanta Hawks.
Hey,
13th pick.
hey.
Hey now.
I'm going back and forth about this one a little bit. I mean, there's a lot of guys on the Hawks that I like. I just think, like, broadly, they just lack the high level talent to compete and complement their best player. They need shot creators. They need guys who can do stuff with the ball in their hands. And I also just think they need, like, a real deal center upgrade who can pair with Trae and set hard screens and rim run and all that fundamental stuff. But they also have pick 22, which to me is usually where you would go for, like, functional does big man stuff center. That being said, there are some prospects still available that intrigue me. Let me look for a minute here. You know what the hell? I am sorry to Mr. Baller SP. I think I'm going to take Cedric Howard here.
Let's go. I had him on my board for the 22nd. The Atlanta Hawks 22nd.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, like, there's a little bit of question as to, like, the handle and, like, how effective he is on ball, but, like, pretty much everything else is just, like, there. This is not relevant at all, but I was reading the Vicini draft guide today, and I thought this was fun. He served on the Black Student Union, the Fresno County African American Leadership Conference Board, and the Principal Advisory Board at high school. He won a medal from Habitat for Humanity for making houses and was on the honor roll every year. I think we could use some good character in Atlanta. I think they need some positive role models around in the clubhouse. And I think he would do that. I like the idea of him sort of like, though not having the same skill set, being kind of that like Bogdan Bogdanovic guy who's like, okay, Trae doesn't have the ball in his hands right now. What else do we do? Because I like Dyson Daniels and I like Jalen Johnson. And Reese Shea is what he is. But I just think like having one more guy who is connective but functional and has like a really strong frame and can get downhill and has a really nice shot and just like you don't have to worry about having him on the floor in any matchup is like a big thing for them because they do have a lot of like cool pieces that thrive in like specific context. And I think having like a glue guy of sorts at the wing, even if he's a little bit older, like we can't keep pretending they're going to retool forever. You got to start getting some wins eventually.
I think
I like it.
That's
I've
great
read
pick.
good things about him. Oh, go ahead, Baller.
Yeah, I think honestly, I've Cedric Howard as like a top 10 talent in this draft. I kind of can't say enough good things about him. He's like Daniel was getting to. He's like very high character from what everyone says around him. Like he followed his coach from Eastern Washington to Washington State. So he's like very loyal in that sense too. But like on the floor, to me, like I don't think he has any holes in his game. He can shoot. He can handle a little bit. He's a pretty decent passer. He has a really straightforward to the point game where he's like really good on like a one dribble pull up, gets the ball. If he's like open for the catch and shoot, he just fires away. He's very like what's the word I'm looking for? Like to the point, but like intentional player on offense. And then on defense, like I think he's a monster. Like has a lot of blocks and steals, can lock down, moves his feet, is athletic, huge wingspan, massive hands. I don't think there's a really that many downsides to him as a player.
Hell yeah. Going from one coward.
Have you?
Flop, you had something to say?
I've never seen him play a game. I've never seen him play a game. I've read such good things about him, but like I cannot find any of his games online. That's just not a take. That's just where I'm at. Sounds like a great player.
He only played 6 games this season before he got hurt, which is like a little concerning. And there's a thing like people say he didn't play well against better teams, which I think is fair, but he also didn't play a large sample size. And to me, like he was recruited by Duke, and I think that says a lot too. That like they believed in him, so he was going to go to Duke next year.
Yeah.
I think enough people believe in him.
Well, and again, I haven't watched like all these games, but when people say, and I think Vicini said this in his guide too, like when people shout out that like he failed against top level talent a lot of the time, or his numbers sunk, a lot of that was in like the first half of the season, and he didn't really get into his stride until the second half anyway. So I don't know if it's necessarily like the fairest representation of his game. Sorry, Sal. Back to you.
You're good. You're good. Good analysis. Coward. It's a guy. I don't know. Are there any cowards on the Spurs? Probably not. Is this next guy going to be one? Maybe. Spurs are up.
Okay, so here I was kind of throwing around the idea of like a Sorber potentially. With Wemby, it could be fun. But I think we're going to go Carter Bryant here. Get a wing. Get a plug-and-play guy. A winner. Also, we love winners around here.
Yep.
We do.
Yeah. Good shooter. Good defender. I mean, he's not going to like bring much off the ball, like on terms of like off the dribble. Kind of like a straight line drive guy, but I think he can attack a closeout pretty well. Pretty athletic. I just think he's like going to be a solid like rotation wing, probably, upside as like a good starter. And I think that's pretty good for the Spurs. If they can come out of this with Harper and Bryant to add to Wemby, I think that's pretty good haul.
Totally. I think for what Flop was saying about like we can't really see them like contending just because they don't have the depth for it. Like Carter Bryant is exactly the type of guy that I would add and see in the depth chart and be like, okay, yeah, I can see us going to him in big moments and like being able to trust that he can do his thing.
Yeah, I love Carter Bryant. I think also at 14, I think that's like kind of a steal.
They need shooters, and he'll help on defense too. Like he's gonna be out. He'll like contribute. I think he's a low ceiling guy, but they need players like him. They don't have them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of low ceiling, not the Thunder. If they have a high ceiling, they might win the championship. Thunder up now. Baller. Who do you add to this championship roster?
That's a great transition. I think the Thunder are in an amazing place with this pick. They have 2 picks in the first round, which is crazy because they don't have minutes for like their guys. They might only have minutes for 1 first round pick. So I can see them moving up or trade in for future assets or something. They really can't go wrong here. I would consider Nick Clifford here. I'd also consider Maxime Reynaud if they feel like they need center depth behind Chet. And, I don't know if they're going to keep Hartenstein because they're paying him a good bit. But the pick I'm going to take, we're going to take a swing on Noah Esenge because I think they're in the position to do so. Let him play in the G League for a year or two, develop. Their only weakness, you could say, is on the wing, and he brings size. Kind of seems to fit their culture of just like guys who get down and dirty and lock in, and yeah, I think Asenge has actually a pretty high ceiling. I think he's a rather raw player, but he got a lot better throughout the year, which is interesting. He can shoot. He's not a phenomenal shooter, but he can shoot and showed improvement. Seems to be good on defense and long. Little bit of a lob threat, just kind of like a dirty work guy. So I think it would be great for the Thunder to add him.
Yeah.
I'll be so pissed if they get him. I love Noah. I think that this is a steal. I think that he'll like make their defense even more annoying with how many turnovers they generate.
Yeah.
I think it's very likely that everyone's going to be pissed off whoever they take. I think there's going to be a guy that falls to them, and everyone's going to be like, "Well, fuck! Like, how the Thunder got this guy too?" Okay.
Yeah. So they take that guy. Speaking of guys being taken, the Orlando Magic took Desmond Bane from the Grizzlies, and that's how they have this 16th pick here. At this 16th pick, we're kind of looking to maybe replace Desmond Bane or something. I don't know. There's this tall guard. Put him at the 2, I guess. We're taking BYU's Igor Demon.
Apparently, I've learned that it's pronounced Jaeger.
Jaeger bomb.
It is.
Whoa. Oh yeah, the Jaeger bomb.
I think he's
so
trash,
he's gonna
so.
go crazy. Yeah, I think he's really bad, but you know.
I would say, like, I like him on the Timberwolves. I feel like if he like went Timberwolves at 17, that would be fire. Almost like a little bit like Kyle Anderson, except like better. I would say. Kyle Anderson.
Better at what?
than Kyle
Passing.
Anderson? Yeah, passing.
Yeah. But what else?
What do you mean? What else? He
And nothing else. And nothing.
What is he?
One,
I've watched the clips. I've said, what does Jaeger do? What does he do?
okay.
What does Kyle Anderson do?
I think
Kyle Anderson does it all. He does it all.
Rebound and defend.
I think Jaeger can shoot. He didn't really shoot well in college. The percentages were not good.
He didn't
But-
shoot well in Europe either.
But the form is there, and workouts
Okay.
he's been shooting good. He's impressing in workouts, so we got to keep that. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. I think the defense is like bad, but he's tall. He can make he is like a special passer. Like it is a special skill. Like it's not like he can just pass the ball well. He's like
Yeah, that's fair.
everything on the floor he sees. He can make every pass possible, flashy passes. Like I just think if the shot hits and that opens up so much, I just think there's like at 16, you could do a lot worse than Igor. I feel like so.
I think
No,
that's
is
They
he-
also they just
let's
drafted-
not bring Kyle Anderson
they just
into
drafted
this.
It's like a similar
Just
player, slow, tall, passy.
Yeah, he's slow. He is slow.
Yeah.
They just
Sorry, Fluff.
they drafted Topic, and I feel like what is Jaeger other than just worse Nikola Topic? Like I just
Well, we don't
I mean,
know
like-
how good Topic is.
wait no sorry no we're not on the Thunder anymore. We're on the Grizzlies. Yeah, I just think Jaeger sucks. That's just my
Now,
opinion.
is
I
he
don't
is he
think that he's
Jaeger bomb
good
or
enough
is he a white Russian? It's a little
Nice,
mixed drink
nice.
fun for you.
Yeah.
Nice.
Lebowski?
There we go.
All right. From the next Kyle Anderson to the team the Kyle Anderson was on at some point. The Minnesota Timberwolves. The Minnesota Timberwolves. They're up 17.
Yeah, so this is another one where it's are you gonna trade for KD? And if you do, what's gonna happen there? I mean, if they trade for KD and Gobert's in the KD, I mean, this pick might be in the fucking KD trade. Who knows? But if they trade for KD and Gobert's in the KD trade, this pick has to be a big. They just Nas is a free agent. I'm sure they're gonna keep him. And other than that, they really don't have long-term answers there. I'm kind of worried about the Timberwolves long-term situation, which is why I don't want them doing a consolidation trade for KD, because it's you're losing Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Conley's not someone that you can count on in your rotation. You don't know if Dillingham's gonna work out or not because he didn't play this year. So I feel like you have holes at guard, you have holes at wing from Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Like, if they don't do the KD trade, I would consider Yakachonis here to get another creator. I would consider Nick Clifford to get like a glue guy to replace Nickeil Alexander-Walker. But I think they also really do need big depth, regardless of whether they trade them or not. So I think I'm going to go with Sorber here because I think that he'll give them a defensive big. If Gobert gets traded, you're going to need one of those because I don't think Naz Reid is the best defender. And if he doesn't get traded, he's still pretty old. So having Sorber there, I think will work out for them. And the good thing with Sorber, I'm not sure if I like buy into the 3-point shot with him. He's one of the guys that I've watched the least because Georgetown like doesn't dazzle me, but you know, he's a good defensive player. He can catch lobs, and he's a good passer. I think that's like the good thing for a team like the Timberwolves that wants to be competitive. He'll move the ball well.
Hell yeah.
I like that pick a lot for them.
Sorber's good there. I like that. I think
Good
even
pick, Bob.
there, like, I think that pick makes sense. Like, Gobert's old. Like, I think it's good. You can learn a little bit.
Yeah, Thomas Sorber going to the Timberwolves. Sorber sounds
He's like a pretty decent shooter, too, isn't he?
What'd you say?
I said he's like a pretty decent shooter too, isn't he?
I think there's like
Definitely has shooting potential.
Yeah, I think there's hope that he can shoot.
Cool.
I'm gonna be honest.
I think a lot of the bigs, there's like you hope that they can shoot. Like I feel like that's kind of
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. Unless you're like actually shooting in college and a threat, I don't need my center to shoot. Like
that's what I was
unless
thinking about Malawach. It's like
I don't care about like
Probably
a shooting
changing
potential
stuff.
really. I'd rather him just be good at being a center.
like the only guy that I would be like I need him to like shoot is like Derek Queen, like out of the centers.
Yeah.
Like everyone else is like just do the center stuff. Like if you can hit a 3 every now and then it's okay. Like but what are we looking for? Like Thomas Bryant level shooting? Like that's not like doing anything for me.
TV shout out.
Yeah,
Many
shout out
have been
TB.
canceled for less. All right. I don't know. Did any Wizards players get canceled? The Wizards are up.
I have a good segue for this one.
Oh, let's go.
I have a
Here we
good.
go.
Many have been canceled for less. I want to clarify before this pick. Not my boy. Not my boy.
Oh, no.
Don't endorse
no.
his affiliations of any variety. But with the 18th pick, the Washington Wizards will be selecting Ben Saroff from Ratio Farm.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I don't have to know who he is. Let's go.
This is hard for me specifically because like Manu is my favorite player of all time, and I see like so much Manu in his game, and I wish he was not from Israel. But I don't, you know, I'm the messenger here. I think if I'm the Wizards, this is like the guy, especially in taking. They took Malawak, right? Yeah,
Yes.
with the 6th pick.
Yeah.
So I think if you are investing serious draft capital and thinking Malawak is the long-term piece, then you want to put pieces around him that are going to enable the best version of his game. I think, what's his name? Bub is like absolutely one of those, great pick and roll creator. And I think the idea of bringing like in another, like not tall, but not short, like combo guard who's really crafty with the ball and is like a strong passer out of drives is going to do a lot for him. Additionally, I just think Ben Saroff fills like good holes for that team. He's like really good with the ball in his hands. He's really crafty. His decel is like crazy, and you hope he gets stronger. You hope he gets a little more aggressive around the rim, but if not, he has a bag and he has like the creative finishes to cover up those holes in his game. He's a really good mid-range shooter. His pull-up game is really impressive. His 3 is weird, but I tend to be a fan of like an ugly 3-point shot that goes in. That's like something that I am pro. I like Lonzo. I like Tally in the draft, and this to me, it's kind of a similar thing. Like the touch is there, and I think with some tweaks
Horford.
that'll come along. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, that's what you're going for. I don't think he's going to make them like better in the immediate short term, which is good. They want to tank another couple of years. You go right ahead and do that. But I like what his his skill set provides, and I think it makes sense for like the team is currently constructed.
I think the biggest benefit of this pick is they can have a Israeli embassy night at the Capital One Arena.
Ever since Denny
And-
left, there's been like a real hole in the organization.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. DC is a city very pro Israel, notably.
Oh my God, yeah, unfathomably so.
Obviously.
It's insane. Yeah.
Bulls.
From Washington to Brooklyn or New Jersey, wherever you people decide they lay. Brooklyn Nets 19. I don't know. Go for it.
All right. So if I'm the Nets here, I am running to the stage to select Yakachonis. I think like the upside is like insane for 19. Like the value here is just crazy. I think he's like, I mean, for me, I would have him in like the top 10 probably. I was like Yegor pilled a little bit for a while, but I've got Yakachonis now like above him. He's just like he's super smart. Like the shot didn't really go in a ton, but I think like for sure he'll be a decent shooter. Super good passer, really good handle. Like just looks like a he's big. He's a big point guard. I think that's a valuable player. I think like I don't see like a star upside really, but I think like a high level starter. Like he seems like like you watch like the finals and this guy's like making decisions, like guys that can shoot, make decisions quickly, dribble, like control the ball. Like I think he's got kind of all that into his game. So
They legit might take him at pick 8. I've read someone who said that.
yeah, and I wouldn't be mad at that at 8, to be honest. I think
No,
Fierce
that's
is much better at 8 than Yakachonis, but
I think the value is crazy here for sure.
yeah.
I agree. I think he could be like a legit 3-level scorer. Like,
Mhm.
could be like, if you want to be insane about it, like you could say like Bradley Beal, like a 3-level scorer who's like a secondary creator. But I think like the players that he reminds me of when I watch him, like Spencer Dinwiddie and Kobe White, where it's like they have really good scoring juice and they can be a good passer and they're like these sort of like tall, dynamic creators. They're just like missing that little bit extra like refinement of their game that would make them a star. You know what I mean? But like maybe
Yeah.
he figures that out as he gets older and he is a star. If he doesn't, I think he's like a really good bench creator to have.
Yeah, I think also like the injury that he had, like really, like he was playing through injury for like most of the year.
Yeah.
Early mock drafts, like he was
Splits are
like,
really
like early mock drafts, he was like top 5, like top 4. Like there was like legit hype about him, and then he got hurt and played through it. I mean, he could have just. I mean, it would have been better for him not to have played through it. But I think that probably impacted him quite a bit. At least the shooting, I think for sure.
Yeah. That guy going to the Nets. Next up, the Heat. No, I couldn't think of a one. Goran did Dragic play for both of them? I think so.
Thanks. Yeah.
Let's go,
Let's go.
dude.
Yeah, he did.
That's for
A little
your
grid
people,
work
bro.
right there for you.
Yeah.
All right, so the Heat, I think, are in a tough spot as a franchise. Strangely, I hope they don't trade for KD. That would be terrible for them because they're pretty thin, and why go all in on the oldies? But whatever. At this pick, I think I like Nick Clifford more as like as a big board at this point. I think he would be the best player available. But I'm going to go Will Riley. Now, Will Riley, when I watched him at first, I really didn't love it, but he's grown on me, and I've heard a lot of good things about like at workouts. He's just like giving guys buckets, and just like he's one of those wings that could kind of be a late bloomer and grow into be like kind of an on-ball wing, a scoring wing. He's really long, and if he can put all the scoring package together, I mean, he could be a problem. And I think the Heat could use guards or forwards. I like where they're at with bigs, but I don't really believe in either Jovic or Hawkes Jr. to be like a guy to prevent a pick, to block a pick. But so yeah, I'm gonna go with Will Riley here.
All right.
At Riley's son.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a fun one.
Hell yeah. From the heat to the mountains, purple. The Jazz are sad. I don't like being a Jazz. I can't imagine being a fan of them. That would be very depressing. Maybe this won't be depressing. With this pick, I'm taking Georgia's Asa Newell. I think he was picked yet. I don't know. They
No,
need forwards.
Respect.
Laurie's gone. Take Asa Newell.
Who do we have on? Oh, we took Ace, right?
Yeah, Ace is
With
at
5.
5. Yep.
Ace and Asa. That's fun.
Yeah, a couple of A's.
Got a good potential for a nickname there.
Double A.
I'm like Asa Newell. I'm not really sure how I feel about him. I'm a little like, is he like a small 5? Does he get the shot? And that, because like if he gets the shot and he can play the 4, I think like the rebounding and the secondary rim protection is really good for him. I mean, they basically have like a fully baked version of Asa Newell on their team right now with John Collins. So I don't know. I'm not the biggest Asa Newell guy, but at 21, I don't know if you're getting as many guys who are going to have like the hypothetical upside as him.
I actually like John Collins as a comp. I didn't think about that before, and I kind of think his outcome will be between like Marvin Bagley to John Collins.
Damn. Sorry, Asa. All right. Jazz to the Hawks.
You get John Collins at the 21st pick. That's good.
Yeah.
Some say he's better than PG.
That's crazy. Bro, the
Oh, God.
PG return.
Not me.
Bro. The haters are gonna be in shambles when 8 rises up this year.
So the Hawks for their earlier pick took Cedric Coward, which I like. I think that there's a couple. I'm kind of like, I was the same thing with Daniel, where I was like, they have all these guys where it's like you're good enough to play in the NBA, but like you're also like not that good. So it's like, should I be just trying to replace you? That kind of is the case for all their positions. Like, if they're gonna let Clint Capella go, do they need a backup center to like play those spots? Maybe. Like, I don't really like. They have Karis LeVert now. Are they gonna keep him or trade
Oh
him?
yeah,
Like,
they do.
all of their whole roster is so weird. Like, I just am very confused about what this team is. Like, I think they have Terrence Mann now on a 4-year contract, which to me is just like insane.
He's untouchable.
So I would have liked better bigs to be available here. I do. Nick Clifford and Rasheer Fleming, I think, would both go off the board already, and I do think like they could be good fits here. I think with Nick Clifford, Dyson Daniels is already doing the like glue guy defense stuff, so I think I'm gonna take the guy. I think he's a little bit of a reach here, but I think that he can legitimately shoot, and he is a legitimate lob threat, and he is a good defender, and I just can't imagine a better player to put at the 5 next to Trae Young than Ryan Kalkbrenner. A lob threat, 3-point shooter, defender. Like, I think that he's like the perfect guy around Trae Young. I think it's a little bit of a reach at 22, and the fact that he is so old makes you question his production in college, but I do believe that he's like an NBA level big, and he might be able to outplay Okongwu and becomes a starter like pretty quickly because he is older. So I like the fit here. I would have liked other guys to have fallen to this Hawks pick, but this is what I'm going to roll with, Ryan Kalkbrenner.
Hell yeah.
I think it's a great pick. Yeah.
Quick question: I guess you kind of state it by the pick, but you think Kalkbrenner is better than Maxime Reynaud?
I will say that I'm not super familiar with Reynaud. like I don't even really know what like his strengths and weaknesses are a player. Like there's just some players that I'm not as familiar with. So you would have to tell me a little bit more about him. If I were to look at like why not take Kalkbrenner, the fact that he's an older prospect and the fact that he's such a shitty rebounder at the 5 kind of sucks. But maybe you can pill me on Maxime here.
We might get there.
All right. So we go from the Hawks to the Pelicans, Birds.
To the Pelicans. Wow. Oh, man. I'm looking at this guard rotation. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. It's bad. It's bad. Not counting the guys who are no longer under contract. It's Jordan Hawkins, Jose Alvarado, Antonio Reeves, and then, like, any of the guys that you count as, like, shooting guard. You know what I mean? Like, CJ is listed as, like, a 2, and, like, DeJuan, you know what I mean? It's bad, and I don't like any of them. And they have Khan now with the 7th pick, which is cool. And I think I would just go, it might be a reach. It might be, like, a little bit not a flashy pick, but I think I would go with Nolan. I don't know how you pronounce his name. Traore?
Traore, yeah.
Yeah. Nothing jumps off the page with him for me. I like watched some highlights at some point and I don't really remember them. But like it just I think in spite of or maybe because none of his measurables are like that outstanding, the fact that he is still a really good and well-rounded player speaks to just like a general good feel for the game. That's kind of what I see here. It's like he's a good passer, he's a good athlete, he's a good ball handler. He's a good shooter with upside. So it's like he may just stink, but I do think there's a chance that he's like a totally serviceable rotation guard. And like looking at this roster, I'm like, you just need that. Because, I mean, I kind of forgot DeJuante was on this team, but like, how much is that really going to do for you? You know? Yeah, I don't really have a lot to say because the Pelicans are another one of those teams that just feels incredibly in flux, and whether or not Zion is there or whether or not DeJuante stays or CJ is like playable in 2026, like it's hard to say, but I think that's like a good safe pick that just shores up their like young guard options.
All right. The Thunder.
He's like a playmaker with bad shooting, right? That's like his thing.
Sorry, say that again?
I think so.
A playmaker with like kind of like a weak shot. That's like his thing, right?
Yeah, that's like his vibe.
He's
but
also
it's like
French,
it's like less about like Yegor Demine thing where it's like he's just like an ungodly passer who has no like auxiliary skills to complement it. It's like he's like a good passer who's like has high IQ and like can see the floor pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think he would be I don't think he's gonna have like one glaring weakness as provided the shooting continues to develop. And he's like 18, I think. So
yeah. Traore going to the Pelicans. Who's the second guy going to the Thunder?
Oh man, they have another one.
So here, I was thinking about Rasheer Fleming, but I don't think I think he would kind of work because it's like maybe a little bit more of a project. They could like kind of just set him down for a while, play in the regular season. But we're actually gonna go Liam McNeely here.
Oh, wow.
We're gonna get an elite shooter. I think.
Is he?
Yeah, I think so. I think the percentages aren't good, but I think he's an elite shooter. If you look at like the shot diet, and I think they need that. I mean, they made like 3 threes. I mean, they're gonna win the finals probably, but like I think 3-point shooting could help them a little bit. I think he's like kind of a safe bet here, honestly, at 24. Just a rotational guy. He's not going to do anything crazy for you, but I think the shooting is a pretty good skill.
Hell yeah. And he takes on Liam McNeely.
I'm
not much of
I think he's trash.
I'm not much of a believer.
He's so bad.
All right.
Yeah. like he's supposed to be a shooter and like he didn't shoot well, so it's like, what do you
You
want
like
me
Ace
to do?
Bailey, don't you?
Okay, that's completely different,
Wow.
but sure.
Get his ass.
You're gonna get many upset with that comment.
There's signs. Like I think McNeely's gonna be a good shooter. I think in workouts, I think he's shooting well. I think like the shot looks good. He takes it like off screens, movement. Like I trust it.
Tight. Liam McNeely. From one natural thing to another, Thunder to Magic, who are the Magic taking?
I think this is the second pick in a row that I have where I say I think Nick Clifford is the highest on my board, but I'm going to go with Walter Clayton Jr. because I think the Magic need shooting. I think they need competent guard play, and they address that with Desmond Bane. But they also traded away Cole Anthony, so they're going to need like a backup, like a bench guard. Well, I actually kind of think Walter Clayton is like a real guy. I don't know. I was really impressed by the March Madness run, and yeah, good shooter. He can get hot. I see a little book in him. See a little cane in him. He might not be like a number one option point guard guy, but like I think he can make things happen. So I think the Magic luck out here, and they get to add Walter Clayton and Desmond Bane to this team that has great defense. You got Suggs, Paolo, Franz, and your boatload of centers. I think that's a good team, and they with this outcome, I think they could very well could be like the 1 seed in the East next year.
Wow. Wow. That's exciting. Good for the Magic. Congrats on getting Desmond Bane. All right. Last pick for everybody. We start off with the first of 2 in a row. Brooklyn Nets picks. Now, the Brooklyn Nets, their ass, we all know this. They don't really have one worth keeping. Think they're a team. You can fucking just put anyone. It's like, all right, dude, whatever. Try it out. So, for my fuck it, try it out. I see a 7'2 guy, 249 pounds. Name is Hanson Yang. That's a cool ass.
Great pick.
Oh yeah,
Cool
hell
name. Love
yeah!
7'2 guys. This is exciting for me.
I love that guy.
Great pick. This is exactly who the Nets should take with these 2 picks. Is he like? I haven't really watched much of him at all, but I've heard people like rave about him and his playmaking ability. You take a swing. Why not? Go crazy. Take the Chinese center.
Hell yeah.
I know. I keep seeing people saying like he could like go undrafted, and we need to stop Asian hate. We need to band together and stop Asian hate because that's ridiculous.
Real. Agreed.
He's definitely gonna get picked. That's insane.
I know.
7'2.
I think
I
people
think
see him and they're like, Zhao Qi, you know what I mean? Or like whatever.
I mean, the
think there's a
second
good
round
chance.
is like.
Good
Sorry,
chance he goes with one of these 2 picks for the Nets.
The second round has like creative players. I mean, like half the second round is dropped out of the draft. Like he's gonna be.
Yeah, it's true, especially with the NIL stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Creative
draft is
players. Can
pretty
we
thin.
respect?
The draft is very thin after like the 20s. I feel like you get like slim pickings.
Can we respect Bogolja Markovic as a creative player?
he is a creative player, but he's the best one of them.
I was legit about to consider taking him.
Wow. Let's fucking go, dude.
Now
do
that's
you
a
think?
transition for you.
We're back, dude. So yeah, Flop, you get my sloppy seconds for the Nets.
I actually like the Hanson here. I think the draft after anyone, and I think Sharp might be like a free agent soon, and Claxton kind of sucked this year, so why not? I mean, this team could draft anyone, but we've already taken what Fears, Yakachonas, and Yang.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Clifford. I think Nick Clifford would have been drafted already in the real draft. I think that he's a he's a better fit on a contender because I don't know if there's like true star upside there. But if I'm the Nets and I'm sitting at pick 27, guys like him and Rasheer Fleming are really interesting still. Adu Tiero is like, if you really want to like shoot the moon, I guess. Noah Penda is another interesting one, but I think he's more of a role player too. This is kind of the hardest one.
I think Neek could be
I
like,
feel like
You're still excited?
Neek could be
I
grounding
think I'm
for
gonna take
the young guys.
I was gonna say, like, so you have Fears and Yakachonis, like they're gonna do all the creation. Like, let's get a dirty work guy, even if the ceiling isn't that high. Like, the value here is really good, and like he'll probably be good as a rookie or second year player, and you might just flip him for a first round pick that might be better than the 27th pick. I don't know, why not? Nick Clifford, come on down.
Honestly, I don't think he has that low of a ceiling. I think he's good at almost everything, and he's a glue guy. He's not gonna be a star, but could be a starter.
Well, I think the interesting part is like he is old,
I think
but
he could
like
be a starter.
he didn't get good until what, like 2 years ago. Like he was pretty
And
bad.
he
for a
scaled
few
up his
years.
usage a lot.
Right. So it's like in terms of where the trajectory started, it's like I can see him continue. I don't think he's going to be like an all-star, but he could be like a team's Derek White or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think he's exciting for that reason.
Yeah, super exciting.
And I think the
Boston
Nets took three out of these 4 picks. I think were falls. I think Hanson Yang is the only one that's not a guy who fell, and that's great business for the Nets.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think that's what
too.
the Nets should be doing though. Like they should be taking like, bad fits for certain teams. They drop a little bit. All right, we'll take them. Like, just get best.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about fit.
Yeah.
The Boston Celtics are molding. They are seething and molding that Nick Clifford just got taken off the board because they thought they were going to get away with another one. And the only other player I had sort of in that same vein of like, yeah, you're a Celtic and it's going to make me so mad when you're good would be Noah Penda, who I think in a lot of ways his game kind of mirrors Nick Clifford. He's got like he's a little bit taller. I think he's got like a 7-foot wingspan. But he's just like he's got high feel. He's a good connective guy. He can put it on the floor and dribble a little bit. He can attack a closeout. He can the jumper is the question, but like I am more confident with someone like if a Celtic is picked between 25 and 30 in like the last 5-ish years, like you're gonna figure it out, man, and it's gonna make me so mad. He's like a good team defender. He's huge. I think he's like 250 pounds or 240 pounds, like something crazy. I think he's just smart. I wouldn't go for like when he was mocked to go like mid lottery. I was like pump the brakes a little bit, but I think here to a team that is as well established and his role is as clearly defined as it is, and with the necessary limitations, like he's a great passer. Like I can just see him being like, if Sam Hauser walks for more money, then like boom, there you go. There's your new guy.
Hell yeah.
I'll be so pissed if they get Penn.
Yeah, it's gonna be so annoying, but like it happens every year.
Here's a little nickname for Penda I just came up with. Maybe David Roddy, French David Roddy.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh
David
man.
Roddy wishes that he could defend anybody in the NBA like Noah Penda will.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a big body.
Was David Roddy like the worst player like ever like this year? That guy sucks.
Yeah, he was bad.
He was horrible. Like even on the Sixers, like I mean, we had like Zach Wheeler out there.
I got to watch a David Roddy game in person, and it was no good. It's no good.
He sucks. He stinks.
Yeah.
I think we traded him for D'Anthony Melton.
Yeah, W. Morey, rare W.
Okay.
Saying?
The other thing with Penda that I thought was interesting is like the shot is obviously the big question mark, but there was like he did a lot of like trying to tweak this year. He like tried to like do like the Batum no dip thing for a little while. He was like trying to like jump a little differently to like speed up the release. So he knows it's a problem and he's preemptively addressing it, which I always feel like is a good indicator that you're not like I am what I am, but you're like actively working to get better.
He's very shades of Batum, like when you're watching it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Good pick.
Noah Penda going to the Celtics. Fucking Phoenix Suns. Disaster class, disaster team. Who do they get now to replace Kevin Durant?
So I think here again, like kind of a steal. I would go Beringer here. I mean, he's a freak. really raw, but I think he's only been playing basketball for like 4 years. I mean, people like talk about Malawach like that, but like Berenger has like legit not played much basketball at all.
Soccer guy, right?
Yeah. So like the footwork's there. He moves like crazy. Like he's like smooth as fuck on the court for his size. I just think like again, this is like my problem with like Malawach high is like I think the floor for Malawach is probably higher than Berenger, but like Berenger could easily be like the same guy. Like you could like compare strengths and weaknesses, and it's like very similar across the board. I mean, Malawach, like people talk about like the shooting touch is there, and like Berenger is like not. But again, like that's not really doing anything for me. Like Berenger could easily be like an elite lob catcher, which he's gonna be, because he like gets off the floor like crazy, like just an insane leaper. Um, like Ken, I mean, like Malawach is like nice in space. Berenger, I feel like is probably like even a little better. Just like a more fluid mover. He's not as big as I mean Malawach is like fucking huge, so that's like I guess the difference. Like Malawach is moving like probably like relative to his size better than Berenger is, but like do you need like a guy that's like 7'4" out on the perimeter? Like Berenger is still fucking huge, so it's like yeah, I think this would be a great get for the Suns if they could get him here. That would be very good.
It's like that thing of when you see like
think-
Joel or AD switch onto someone on the perimeter, and it's like they can keep up because they like can move well in space, but you look like an enormous man trying to keep up. Whereas
Yeah.
like Berenger really looks like a wing. He's just like a
Yeah.
jumbo
Berenger, I
wing.
feel like is a little Chet-like in that like Chet doesn't look like he's like stretched out, like he's like ready to guard, kind of.
Yep.
I think that Berenger might be like a shock top 20. I think that actually I was going to say the Thunder because I think that the Thunder are desperate for more big. And I think
Oh,
that
I hate that. Yeah.
I think that he might be someone that they could consider as an upside guy. I don't know if he would be like the top center that they would target. I think they'd probably hope for someone to fall to them. But I could see him because I think that the Thunder and the Timberwolves, maybe like the Nets and the Wizards, like I could all see them in like the later part of the top 20, like going after like this higher upside big.
I could
I think that
definitely
the
see
Thunder
him
potentially
at 24. That would be a good pick. I think at 24.
Here's the interesting thing about the Thunder, though. It's like, as much as we're saying like, oh, they're going to get this guy who we love and he's going to be good, they also don't have many minutes to go around. So like, whoever they pick at either pick could just get buried on the bench and waste away.
I think for one, like with Chet's injuries, like there's definitely a potential for like a
big
third
they do.
center to get
Yeah,
minutes. Like I think a center pick would be good. I went McNeely there just because like I feel like they like want the Isaiah Joe thing to be like the shooter guy. Just doesn't really do enough, I would say. But I feel like you could probably go Berenger at 24 also, and that would be a good pick. I mean, yeah, I think top 20, I think you're happy with Berenger there. So at 29, it's like pretty good value.
I also
think
think with the
the-
Thunder, they might have to trade Hartenstein to pay Chet and J Dub down the line. So I think like trying to figure that center out before you have to trade him might be a good idea. And like they don't have minutes to go around, but like they're especially crowded at the guard and the wing spots. I think like the bigs, they can afford to have one more.
That's
Why
true.
they like traded for Tice.
That's true.
I think like Berenger like has like a really high ceiling, but will also probably like be in the G for a year or two.
For sure.
So something like the Thunder would make a lot of sense in that way because like if you don't have minutes to do them right away, that's okay too.
I think the Suns make sense too, just because like they like fucking
Need any bigs.
disaster. Like, yeah,
Nice.
I mean, and they don't have like picks, so it's like take a shot on like a high ceiling guy. Like I would not want them to take someone that's like, just like a normal wing guy that's gonna like fill in. I think they need to swing a little bit.
Yeah. All right. The final pick in this beautiful, beautiful mock draft. Entirely accurate mock draft. Amazing mock draft. The Los Angeles Clippers. Shout out Falk. Who do they select
That's
here?
right. All right. Since this is the last pick, I'm just gonna ramble off of 2 or 3 guys that I like who are still available. So I think they could go Drake Powell, who is like pretty much. I think he's the best athlete in the draft and a rugged defender. He might be the best guard defender in the draft. Um, I think he's a great selection anywhere from like 20-ish on. I really like him. I also like Maxime Reynaud. We mentioned him earlier. He has a little Nas Reed to him, where he's like kind of a hooper. He can shoot. His defense was questioned, but it got better at the second half of this year. And like he's mentioned, like he made like a specific adjustment or something. I forget exactly what it is. He's interesting. Rasheer Fleming, I'm kind of surprised has fallen this far, and I'm actually hearing he might fall in the real draft. So look out for the Sixers to get Rasheer at 35. Now the guy I'm going to go with, it's a little galaxy brain. We're going to go with Yannick Conan Niederhauser, the big Swiss from Penn State. Elite athletic measurements and testing, like Wilt Chamberlain style, fucking just body and athleticism. The reason we're going with him here is we're giving James Harden his dream fucking center here. And he's like literally just athletic rim runner, toss the ball up there. He's going to throw it down, get rebounds. He's just going to be James Harden's favorite guy. And then either at that point you get the chance to flip Zubats if he turns out, or trade him to get pick better than 30 and recoup some assets, because the Clippers this is the Clippers' best pick at 30 until they owe the Sixers the pick in 28 and then the swap in 29. So the Clippers don't have much coming in the next few years. So yeah, we're going Yannick Conan Niederhauser, the 7-footer from Switzerland, Penn State.
Wow.
Nice.
Rasheer Fleming in a Sixers jersey. I'm gonna cry. Cry real tears.
Chills.
That's exciting. This is hype. Got ourselves a good mock here. Before we go, is there any prospects that excite you guys that we haven't talked about here?
They need a big, so I think it's very defensible. Fleming some props. I think that he could fit on almost all the teams that passed on him, because I think that he is such a good off-ball like shooter. But I think I could potentially fall for him as well. I think he's like a great NBA player. And then I think like there's some of these contenders in the end of the draft might for like Tyrese Proctor or Sion James or Johnny Broom as like an older college player that can contribute sooner rather than later. Those are kind of like the guys that I would highlight.
I would say,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to throw Cam Jones on there as well as like an older prospect that I would keep an eye out for in this range.
Yeah. Good shout.
I'd say Hugo Gonzalez is probably going to go in the first round. I don't know like where he would fit, but I feel like his name's been rising a lot. I like him. That's pretty much it, I think.
You know, I was getting nervous about options available at 35 for the Sixers, but like walking through this exercise, it does seem like there's going to be a guy who falls.
I just feel that way, and then it's like we get fucking guys undrafted every year who are like guys. So I'm like, 35 seems like figure it out.
I trust their second round scouting specifically. They've done pretty good on the whole. They can at least get guys who are playable, bare minimum, to like contributors.
Totally.
This is a nice draft. I like a lot of the players in this draft. I think it's going to turn out well.
Yeah.
Long term, looking back.
Yeah. Thank you for running this, Sal. You did a great job.
Thank you all for bringing your expertise. This is amazing. For the simple rubes at home like myself, this is very informative. And now you know some fucking players. Let's go. Thank you, everybody, for coming in, doing this. Kind of got it together somewhat last minute. It's only like a week we took to figure this out. I don't know. But yeah, no, this was fun. This was hype. Year 2, very good. Everyone's balling out. Thank you, Flop, first time. Will, first time on the streams, bro. This is amazing. So
Thank you,
until
Baller, for
next
being
year,
involved.
yeah, thank you, Baller, for filling in last minute. RIP VJ.
Yeah, thanks for calling.
Yeah. So until the fucking draft.
Thanks for the invite.
Of course. I thought you were gonna say no, dude. And you did at one point, but yeah. So fucking mock draft Sixers. Ace Bailey is a Sixer, not in this draft, but
We're still begging for Bailey, by the way.
Begging for
We're still
Bailey,
begging
bro.
for Bailey.
Yeah, to be clear, this is not what I'm choosing for the Sixers. This is what I
Yep.
think is going to happen.
We're Bailey.
We're begging
believers
for
here. Yep. So see you at the Sal stream.
Please do not let CMB go